people, we got a fun little story battle. It's not really a battle. It's just talking about the two cryptids of the sea, the Loch Ness Monster and the Kraken. Oh, I'm pointing it wrong. Loch Ness, Kraken. Loch-in, Kraken. All right. It's going to be a fun show because, what's the bigger story? What's the bigger story for you? Now, I know most of you grew up hearing the Loch Ness. So if the Loch Ness is the bigger story, I get that. You're born with it. Now I've been living in the Washington, Seattle area for the last 25 years. Up here in Washington, the Kraken is huge. Hell, we got a hockey team that says that it's named the Kraken, the NHL Seattle Kraken. So Kraken is very huge up here, but that doesn't matter. So guys, when I played the intro, go to the bathroom, say Bloody Mary 3 times, go drink some coffee, get some popcorn, put in your vote, and then we're going to get right cracking. And today we got Danny Staton as the guest because you know why? Because we can. That's why. So let's get this Paranormal Highway started. Again, people,
South Carolina. I got to get that in there.
You got to get that in there. And before we start, guys, remember, the Kraken and the Loch Ness are two great folklore stories. If they're real or not, they're fantastic stories or events. So it's not saying that one's more important than the other. They're both important. But for the fun of it, it's a way to, explore the two stories and just kind of have fun to say, which one you grew up on? And there's no right or wrong answer. It doesn't mean there's a real true battle between the two. It is just having fun, talking about the two. But before we start, you know what, Danny? I was watching, before we start with the battles, I was watching our good friend, Gemma Jade. And I felt for her because she has products, website, and a religion group went to attacked her website, like where you put like 5 stars. We're giving her like 1 star, why I bring that up? It's just so weird that a religion group that's supposed to represent love your neighbor, are really doing the devil's work by telling there's people to attack another person on their websites and stuff. It's sad when you see that, right? It's sad. People shouldn't attack channel. I mean, if you're a religion, that's perfect. I don't mind that. But even them, you can't tell your people to go attack another channel. That's just uncalled for. So
that's not real cool.
It's not cool. You shouldn't expect that from a church. You know what I mean? You shouldn't expect that for certain things, but they do. It's just sad. It's no different than being the devil when you attack it. And first of all,
you get that with a certain few channels on YouTube, which always seem to have the drama where they're not getting along with this other channel. And a lot of it, because I work with wrestling, I always thought these guys got together and come up with that just to have drama, to get people to watch the drama the way a wrestling match, to watch a wrestling match. They're doing this skit, this fake thing where they're mad at each other and they're talking crap about each other to get people to watch both channels. It's a drama thing. It's a YouTube thing. I don't pay attention to the drama.
Yeah, and it's part of the reason why YouTube took away where you can't see the amount of down thumbs, because that's what they wanted. They want to see more down thumbs than the up thumbs. What technically they don't understand is any amount of thumbs is actually good for the channel. It doesn't hurt the channel.
It's ironic that a couple of years ago there was this fellow named Michael. I'm not going to say his real name. We'll just call him Michael Bleasy. That was his YouTube name. And me and him went through this whole thing for 6 or 7 months where we were at each other's throat on a channel, and everybody got a kick out of us cussing each other out and coming at each other really bad. But it was like we knew what we were doing. We had talked about it, and the whole thing was a work. It was just to get people's blood pressure up. Some people took his side, some people took my side, and it was horrible. It went on for like 9 months, and finally, when we told everybody the whole thing was a work, boy, you want to talk about some people being mad at us? Wrestling fans should have expected it to be a work. Really, they should.
If you don't like something, just move on. Go to something else. You know what I mean? Just move on. But we're not here for that. The Loch Ness and the Kraken. So we're gonna We're gonna start with the Loch Ness. Here's some news stories that still talks about the Loch Ness till this day. I mean, all over. And this news story was actually sent to me by Danny himself. So let me get this video up. I don't have it in the background ready because I was starting late today. So inside the search for the Loch Ness Monster. Let's check out this news story.
Been scanning the surface of a Scottish lake for centuries in search of the Loch Ness Monster. This weekend, there is a decidedly more ambitious effort underway to see if there's any truth to the legend. Ian Lee is at Loch Ness and joins us now. Good morning, Ian.
Good morning, Dana. The weather really isn't cooperating, but this expedition is going forward, and they have everything. They have infrared cameras, thermal drones, a hydrophone to detect any sorts of sounds that may be lurking in this lake, really throwing everything at it over the next 2 days in the search for the legendary Loch Ness Monster. It'll be the biggest search for Nessie in more than 50 years, with high-tech sensors in and over the water, and over 300 volunteers from around the world standing guard along the loch's hilly shores.
It's cool, that people still from around the world go out here to investigate it. I mean, it's whatever you think of the Loch Ness is real or not, people still go out there to this day to investigate the Loch Ness. Are they doing it just to do it? I mean,
excuse me, but this is the one I sent you just earlier.
Yes.
This is the latest one. This has happened less than a month ago that people's actually out on the loch looking for Nessie. So this is like the biggest, latest thing.
And that's what I said before this video, that this is people still, they're talking to this day, and this is proof that how big the Loch Ness still is.
Phones and cameras in hand. This new quest to find Nessie is being funded by the local Loch Ness Center and a volunteer group looking for any solid evidence that could explain the sightings. The alleged monster was first spotted back in the 6th century by Saint Columba, an Irish monk who said he encountered the beast in the River Ness connecting the loch to the North Sea. But the legend really took hold.
But you guys hear that? This goes way past in the past of claims of people seeing the Loch Ness, not just modern day when newspapers are there, from all the way back. You just heard it. I think, what do you say, 1600s?
Well, in 1637, I believe it was, the Saint Columbo. Saint Columbo traveled to Loch. Saint Columbo had traveled to the Loch Ness, and Saint Columbo witnessed this beast. He called it a beast. He didn't describe it, mind you. There was no description of what this beast was. Let me point that out. But the beast come up out the water and took one of his men and carried it under and ate it. And Saint Columbo said a prayer and cast religion upon it, and the beast went away and never attacked nobody again.
They didn't know what to call it back then,
They called it the beast.
You know, the beast makes perfectly sense. I mean, you don't
Because
know what
then
it
it
is.
was a devil, like Satan, a monster, you know.
In 1933, when the manager of a local hotel claimed to have seen a large whale-like creature splashing about on the surface. In the 90 years since, thousands of eyewitnesses have claimed to have seen something.
Been water bailiff here for 40 years. Do you think there's a monster in these waters?
Oh, it's not a case of I think there is. I know there is.
I love that. I love when you say that.
I love his voice.
I love his voice, but I love what he said. I know it is. He knows it exists. And that's important because I remember Pine Island, you know, our friend Jeff Harding.
Jeff Harding at Pine Island
And
Research.
I remember when he said, like, you know, the first thing that people got to do is, you know what you saw. You know what's true. You just got to come out and say it. Don't be afraid. And I remember he said that. And I remember that. I take that to heart. Like, you know, Jeff was right. If you know something's real to you and you've seen something and you know what that is, come out and say it. Who gives a shit what other people say or think? So I like this guy so far, and I love his voice.
Personal experience.
I
How
love
can
you.
you say that?
Because over the years, I've seen these creatures 18 times.
And various photos, films, and videos have kept the legend going. This weekend's search is not the first organized hunt for the creature. The largest was conducted in
I'm having some major internet
1972
issues.
when scores of volunteers scanned and filmed the water's surface from various points around the loch. In 1987, Operation Deep Scan tried a different approach, with 20 sonar-equipped boats cruising up and down the 22
I don't know if y'all
mile-long
can hear
lake,
me right now, but all I
looking
see
for
is little black circles on the screen.
We can hear you, but we could.
I can't see or hear
tell
you.
that your video kind of like freeze.
But on the monitor phone, I can still see you can see me, so I don't know if you can hear me.
No, we can hear you. Oh, we did hear you. Danny Staton just got kidnapped by the Loch Ness. The Loch Ness went to South Carolina and just took him. You guys saw it live on air. The Loch Ness just took Danny Staton away.
any unusual sonar hits under the water. They found 3.
I don't believe in Loch Ness Monsters myself, but I do know that there are some sonar contacts here which intrigue me.
And in 2018, a team from New Zealand conducted a genetic study that found plenty of DNA from eels, bolstering theories that the monster might have been a very large one.
Eels are 4 to 6 foot in length. It's plausible that there might be one or two that grow to extreme size.
The expedition has just started, and I've been able to speak to a few people. You have your true believers, you have your skeptics, but everyone, including ourselves, are going to be keeping our eyes peeled on this loch over the next 2 days. Michelle?
Can't.
Now, let me ask you guys this in the chat. Now, this it's a fantastic video because it tells you that everybody's still looking for the Loch Ness, even to this day. 'Cause that news story is just 1 month old, and that's it. Do we think that the Loch Ness knows? You know how like Bigfoot, Bigfoot can smell, they can see campers, they can see people, in the woods, they know you're there. Do we think that the Loch Ness knows there's a lot of people there? Let me see here. My internet is out. I'm on the cell. Oh, man. Yeah, it happens, Dan. It happens. It happens. Don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. You can't come back on. Don't worry about it. We got this. We got this. You know what I mean? So let me see here. Definitely right there. Nessie definitely knows. And I think they know too. So I think if you're going to have groups of people, I would think that the Loch Ness knows there's that many people, and he's just going to swim to wherever his hideout is, underground cave or whatever his hideout, so they can't detect him, that they can't see him. I think listen, if we haven't caught the Loch Ness already, it kind of tells you the Loch Ness is smarter than us, right? I mean, smarter than us. So I think sometimes more people is not the answer to trying to find it, having groups of boats. Maybe just having one person out there and nobody else on the lake, and just, I don't know, camp out there or something, it is. Now, like I said, there's news stories all over the place. Here's another news story that some of you might saw. Maybe some of you haven't. If you haven't, that's great. American Loch Ness. Here we go.
All right, George is already trying to debunk this next story, but I believe back now with that strange thing spotted in Alaska's waters, raising big questions this morning. Could it be? Yes, George, could it be?
Now, this one is in Alaska. So basically what they're trying to say is a comparison with the Loch Ness, like maybe there's more than one of these Loch Ness. If you believe that's not a log, I'm not telling you if that's a log or that's something else. But what I'm just saying is there's even a story in Alaska of like a Loch Ness. I'm just trying to.
Let me tell you this real quick. So I'm sitting in here and I'm doing the show, right? And everything went down. I don't know what y'all saw. What did y'all see in here before it went out completely? Did you see him hold the camera around and spit the room?
We heard your voice. You might froze up here and there, but we can still hear you speak.
I could see nothing but little black circles, and then my internet went completely out. And when I went, I was like, what's going on? I kept hearing this noise. I went outside, and there's this big, giant Black Hawk helicopter, like a gunship, hovering over my freaking house, Eric. Just sitting there hovering. And then
the government knows that Danny's on the Paranormal Highway show, so they're spying on him.
It says, I told you about them UFO shows, man. You need to leave that for Anthony over at S4, and we need to stick to monsters over here. Yeah, that guy on, and everything's been going crazy since.
Let's check out this video.
An American Loch Ness Monster. ABC's Gio Benitez is here. Gio, what do you think?
Prove it, Gio. I agree with you, and I love that music, by the way. Listen, I'm not easily convinced by this stuff, but wait till you really look at this video. Many in Alaska wonder if it's the rumored relative of the Loch Ness Monster. So on this Halloween, you decide.
It's the 15-foot mystery, moving slowly and methodically through Alaska's freezing water, garnering almost 500,000 views on Alaska's Bureau of Land Management website. Locals asking if this is Alaska's own version of the Loch Ness Monster, the much-talked-about China Chomper. One visitor to the site believes China is back, writing, "The China Chomper, it's back. It was like our own Bigfoot." Another finding the Halloween sighting spookily timed, speculating it could be.
I don't need to hear any more of this one, but let me ask you something, Danny. First of all, I don't know if you are a believer in Loch Ness or not. Are you a believer in the Loch Ness?
Oh yeah, I definitely. But there's a possibility that there's something in the lake. As to what that is,
that's the question. But do you believe whatever it is might have, like, I guess in simple words, family members in Alaska, and other places, not just in the Loch Ness area?
Well, the law of averages says if something can exist one place, it's very possibly it can exist another place.
Exactly.
Just like you had the chap in Champagne, the Champagne Lake Monster chap. There's reports of these things in South American rivers and lakes. There's reports of one in China. There's reports of one in somewhere in a small lake in Japan has some kind of monster story. So there's always all over the world,
And this is very interesting. I like what Monster Radio is bringing to the table. They might be able to self-produce. Frogs can. That is true. Frogs can change sex, so they can reproduce. He is absolutely correct. If there's a lack,
he's been saying that ever since he saw that Godzilla movie.
If there's a lack of certain chromosomes, they can alter their gender, and that can make sense. But I believe
Bigfoot's the same way.
Well, to me, if Loch Ness exists, it had to be born somehow. It was born. That means there's got to be some kind of a family, and it doesn't necessarily, like you're saying, saying it has to be in the Loch Ness.
Let's say there's only one or two of these creatures. And let's say eventually they're going to die because they can't reproduce. What is the age that these things live to. How do you know they don't live to be 20,000 years old?
And that's true too. That's true too. They
It
can
could be
maybe
just
live.
2 of them in that lake, but who knows their age span? How old do they live to be? They don't necessarily have to reproduce based on how long their lifespan is.
You know what, Danny? I didn't recognize. I didn't know why I wasn't paying attention too much. You're actually, hold on. You are actually the Kraken. So I guess you're a Kraken. I'm a Loch Ness. The words on the thumbnail matches of what we are. So I guess you're a Kraken. I guess I'm the Loch Ness.
Yeah. You know, I had a picture in my mind of the Kraken fighting Nessie. And, you know, the giant octopus type thing they call the Kraken would give Nessie a good fight. But the thing from Clash of the Titans, that big old giant thing, would pick Nessie up, pop her head off, and drag her like a bud.
Yep. And then here's another Loch Ness video.
Centuries-old search for the elusive Loch Ness Monster. A team of New Zealand scientists has turned to DNA, studying 500 million sequences from the length and breadth of the loch. Their mission, to finally discover what lurks beneath. Today, the world's media descended on the Scottish Highlands to hear their results.
Every single sampling site that we went to pretty much had eels. And the sheer volume of it was a bit of a surprise. Now, is it possible that what people are seeing is a giant eel? Well, maybe.
The myth of Nessie goes back 1,500 years, but the first modern report was in the 1930s.
Loch Ness, on which the eyes of the world are focused.
It sparked an industry of Nessie stories, sightings and souvenirs. Steve now dedicates his life to the hunt, watching the water from his lodge every day for the last 28 years.
That's dedication.
He's unimpressed with the giant eel theory.
I'm not about to give up. This tells me a couple of the things that it's not going to turn out to be. Fair enough. I could have told him some of those answers without him doing all his research.
This skipper says he's had his own run-in with a monster. A blip on his boat's sonar won him the prestigious Nessie Sighting of the Year prize.
I believe that I've seen something strange in the loch, for sure. On my sonar screen that day 8 years ago was an object 1 metre to 1.5 metres wide. Where could it go? It could dive into the loch. We've got 200 metres of water here. Caves, little caverns, somewhere for a monster to hide. Totally, yeah.
Nessie's hiding.
Nessie's hiding, yeah.
Keeping the mystery alive is big business for Scotland, and the DNA results didn't put these tourists off the search.
We came to find the monster, and we did. You know, we did.
We've got a sighting here. It might be a giant eel.
I don't think so.
No?
Eels don't have legs.
No.
If she's large and I can see her, what difference does it make? It's what's in your mind.
These DNA results are using modern techniques to try and solve an ancient mystery. But Nessie's not dead in the water just yet. This loch is 24 miles long, well over 200 metres deep, and there are countless caves. So for those who want to believe, there is...
It was just weird hearing them talk about the DNA, because to really do a DNA, Danny, don't you got to have the creature itself to do?
Well, actually, they got some kind of DNA now where you can take water samples and identify the life that came in contact with the water.
But man, I'm curious on how that works. You know, because the body.
By
of
the way,
water,
when they did, just to point out, they did that water test up and down the lake. They did 32 different spots. They took water samples on Lake Loch Ness, and they did DNA samples based on the water that determine what animal species live in the water. And they found DNA for a giant eel in the water, but they also found an unidentified amphibian genus that they could not identify what this creature was. So there is DNA proof that there's something unidentified in Loch Ness.
Exactly what Monster Radio is saying. No, you don't need to be a living specimen for DNA or eDNA. It's valuable. Yeah. I can't imagine without having the species that kind of a research. It's got to cost some money. I don't know how much that kind of DNA will cost to to do that when you don't have a person or whatever it is. That's got to be a massive amount of dollars.
Well, they actually got a Loch Ness research organization.
Yes,
like
they
got
did.
a
They said that
PFO
video.
finance it and raise money to do tests and carry out. They carried out that recent 1 month ago survey thing we were watching earlier, where they went up and down the lake with sonar and took more water samples and stuff.
Yeah, you're right, Laura. eDNA is such a game changer, and it's cool to see that organizations are spending the money to do the research.
The problem with that is it's a new science and it's still in its infancy, and they haven't quite got the bugs worked out. You give it 10 more years, they'll be able to take a drop of water, drop it on the laptop, and have pictures of everything that lives in that lake.
Yep. You and I could probably take a sample of that water, send it to Ancestry.com and get some results for $100.
You got a good idea there. That'd be if you had the extra money to do a test, we should take water samples, swab the water sample, and send it in to see what they say about it. Because I don't really trust DNA websites too much.
What if you do? What if you do that, Dan, and then that black helicopter really pulls on your door and say, "You come with us"?
It would not surprise me anymore. Some of the stuff that's happened recently over the last few months. If you watch my videos, you know what I'm talking about. Nothing would surprise me anymore.
I'm just curious. I'm just looking over for a second at the voting so far. So far, 37 people voted, and it looks like the Loch Ness is winning 62% to 38%. And again, that's no surprise to me because the Loch Ness has always been technically.
I voted for the Loch Ness.
You know,
well, even though I think the Kraken would eat it for breakfast.
It's the story, right? You grew up on. It's kind of one of those stories. I'm not saying it's fake. I mean, I'm an event story that kind of got you involved in looking at cryptids. You know, sometimes it wasn't the Bigfoot for a lot of people on the reasons why they got into.
I'm going to wait after you show the Kraken evidence and show some Kraken videos before I say anything about it and start dissing on it. I'm not going to tell people why I would choose Nessie over the Kraken right at this point.
Let me see here, because I do have. Here's a video called "What If the Kraken Was Real."
Kraken is a giant monster squid from Jules Verne's iconic book, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. It also has its roots in fishermen's tales from Norway and Greenland. The scary thing about the Kraken is you can't see it coming. It waits under your boat in the dark water. Legend has it that if you start catching too many fish, you should row away for your life because the Kraken might be under your boat, scaring the fish so they swim up to the surface. As far as we know, the Kraken is just a legend. But let's imagine for a second that it wasn't. Today, Life's Biggest Questions asks, what if the Kraken was real? Hello and welcome back to Life's Biggest Questions. I'm Charlotte Dobre. Don't forget to like and subscribe and let us know in those comments below a question you have always wanted to know the answer to. The first report of a Kraken came from an account written in 1180 by King Sverre of Norway. Then, in the 1850s, a large squid beak washed up on the shores of Denmark. When a Danish naturalist, Jaap Steenstrup, examined it, he announced that the Kraken was real. The beak belonged to a giant squid, and he called it Architeuthis dux. This is when scientists really began to dig deeper into the legend of the Kraken. Could it be based on truth, or was it really just a fisherman's tale? It is believed that during the dinosaur era, squids may have been 30 meters long. Perhaps one of these specimens somehow survived when the dinosaurs did not, and kept breeding. According to fishermen who claim to have seen the Kraken, it was the size of a number of small islands, and its back alone seemed to be the length of 1.5 miles. Because of its size, when the Kraken descends back into the depths after sitting on the surface of the water for a time, the motion of its sinking causes a swell in the sea that pulls everything in the vicinity down into the depths with it. Giant squids have long tentacles that they use to grab their prey. Each one of these tentacles is covered in suction cups lined with teeth. If you get snatched by these tentacles, you won't be able to free yourself. Once it has you in its grasp, a giant squid takes small, delicate bites. So needless to say, it would definitely suck to be eaten by a Kraken. So for starters, if the Kraken was real, imagine what that would mean for sea travel. Sea travel was the main way to get around until very recently, especially for the Vikings. If there really was a giant squid, Nordic people may never have invaded much of the world. The entire history of the Vikings might not have occurred. If the Kraken was anything more than a sailor's legend, it is unlikely any of the Americas would have been discovered until aircraft were invented. Let's be honest, honest, if there really was a giant bloodthirsty squid swimming around, there would be mass public hysteria surrounding it. There would no doubt be attempts to track it down and kill it. History would be filled with tales about epic battles between sea monsters and brave sailors. But just because there would be attempts to track the Kraken down, that doesn't mean those attempts would be successful. Cephalopods like squids and octopus are known to be the most intelligent creatures in the ocean. What's more is, they hang out in the deepest, darkest parts of the ocean. If a Kraken wanted to escape, all it would have to do is dive down to where mere humans couldn't reach it. Fast forward to the modern era where there are submarines, and world governments would want to track down the giant creature and destroy it with deep sea missiles. On the other hand, there would also be environmental activists and scientists who would be against this. The Kraken is an ancient, rare creature after all. Studying it would be of utmost importance. How could its species have survived until the modern age? Since the discovery of the giant squid beak in the late 1850s, 21 species of giant squid have been discovered. It is thought that some of these squids could reach 50 feet in length, including their tentacles. But interestingly, none of the discoveries were rooted in an actual sighting of one of these great animals, only a piece of them that washed up on shore. The truth is, no one really knows how big giant squids can grow, and they don't really leave the deep ocean. They spend much of their time 400 to 1,000 meters below, and we've only explored about 5% of the ocean. Who knows, maybe the Kraken really does exist, and it's lurking in the depths somewhere. What do you...
Now, I have one huge problem when she keeps saying, is it real or not? Because first of all, people say the Loch Ness is real. And the thing is, what I mean is the sighting of a Loch Ness is very hard. Very, very hard. There's a small percentage of people that get to see a Loch Ness. Now, and that's in the Loch Ness area. Now, we're talking about an open ocean. If you're not guaranteed to see a Loch Ness at the Loch Ness Lake, what your percentage to see a Kraken at an open ocean is probably even worse.
Okay, Eric, here's the thing. The Kraken is real. We know it's real. We have found them dead on the beach. The Kraken is a story about a giant sauropod. It's a story literally about a giant octopus. A giant octopod that comes up and tears. Look at that picture behind your head there. See that thing? That's a big octopus coming up out of the ocean and attacking a ship, which they have been known to do in history several times over. There's historical accounts going back to the year 600 about these octopus that attack boats and pull people to their death. You can find 100 old drawings of this and 100 old sketches all the way back to before Christ about these giant squid. They were very, very dominant in the area surrounding Italy and Greece and the Mediterranean Ocean. And because the ones there grew larger than normal, you got stories of the Kraken created by God.
And Roger Blair is right, Danny. There was a story that didn't Columbus and his men say they saw something on the way to the New World. There was a story
was bright lights. They saw bright lights like UFOs in the distance or something.
Bright lights, but there was also in one of the writings is they thought they saw something in the water too that is almost similar to a Kraken.
You know, I saw that story, but it's very possibly that, like I said, giant squids exist. The largest one we ever found was 49.5 foot, washed up on a beach, I believe, in England. And it's the largest one ever found. But what if that was a baby? We don't know what's so deep in the ocean that we can't go. Man cannot go to the bottom of the ocean.
Nope,
He'll
not at all.
like a bubble. Best we can do is ROVs and cameras. And that's a small percentage. A small percentage of the ocean. So Kraken automatically has been proven. Kraken is real. It might not be the size of the ones from old days taking down a ship, but we know they exist, and the potential for them to be bigger ones exist. So Kraken is 100% real, 100% proven.
I got a video that Danny sent to me called the top 5 mysterious Krakens. So let me put that on for you guys. So this is a video that Danny found for me, which it's so helpful. I'm so glad he helps.
I studied for this like a test.
Here's the top 5 mysterious Kraken. Number 5. Canada. He fix Canada. Oh, right there. Right there.
Oh.
You guys see that? Look in the middle. Look in the middle of the video. In the back, you see that thing sticking out from the ocean.
Wow.
Now guys, remember, we're watching this video like you guys. Myself and Danny cannot sit here and tell you at 100% these are 100% real. This is up to you guys.
Oh, come on, Eric. This is such bullshit.
Danny, come on. You're supposed to build it up to people.
I cannot tell a lie. You know what ruined it? It was the sound effect. If they had not put the sound effect in there, I might have bought it.
You know,
but when they doctored it up with that crap, that just ruined it. That just made it bullshit. I'm sorry. I'm from Nikki and Joe have taught me well how to spot crap.
But still, up to them.
And shout out to my friend Joe Snyder, man.
Here's number 4.
I hope he's doing well. I haven't heard nothing, but he's been sick, you know that. You can see them videos. Catch up on that.
Okay. Oh, there it is. It looks like it's the same one. The other one. And then he just moved it over.
Total garbage. Next.
I really, it felt like it's the other video.
You know, when it comes to this Kraken stuff, I prefer the old drawings made by people in the 15 and 1600s as to their eyewitness what they saw.
Yeah, we got to see all 5.
Because it's more reliable than any of the new stuff you see like this.
We got to see all 5. Here's 3 up in Australia.
Well, it's going to be the same one again, right?
They probably just move it over.
Was that it?
Did
they blow it up with a nuclear explosion?
Is this a Godzilla?
I don't know. It looked like they nuked it. They did nuke it. That's a good idea. Now they got rid of the Kraken. They killed it.
Oh.
That's messed up.
Fun. All right, guys. Here's number 2.
Yeah, this is not a video I sent you.
Ooh, locations. I can't tell you where this is at. Hey, it's the same one again. Man, we're sure not making the case for the Kraken to win.
I said you should go with the old drawings from 15 and 1600. This don't even look like good movie effects.
No kidding.
Okay, maybe the movie Battlefield.
I am dying to see what number 1 is. What is the number 1?
If I did this just for fun, I'd have put the back to the cotton thing. Because you already went full.
Danny, if you did this, you'll be on Nikki's hit list. Her show.
This is horrible, man.
This Danny Staton guy. Look at this.
Oh, come on. My
CGI
videos are bad, but this is really bad. Now we need to apologize for wasting 5 minutes of everybody's life.
Oh, people love it.
Oh, I know. They're getting a kick out of it. I see them chat. A lot of people's laughing.
Come on. on, we know that's real, right?
Oh my God, that's embarrassing.
Dude, it's all for fun. Everybody loves,
That's just embarrassing.
Sometimes, in life, you gotta have fun, right? You really do. You really gotta have fun in life. We can't take everything seriously, but I'm trying to look up something real quick. Give me a second. Oh, but Danny, why with some of these paintings you're talking about? Is there a reason why you choose the Loch Ness over the Kraken, or is it just to you? Is there just more evidence in the Loch Ness versus the Kraken?
The Kraken is real. We've proven that. It's a giant.
I know, but why do you choose Loch Ness to be your higher story versus the Kraken?
Because it's an ongoing investigation. It's a search for the unknown. It's what the paranormal investigator's life is about, finding the unknown. I'm not going looking for Kraken because I know a giant squid's out there. They've been found on beaches. There's no use to throw yourself into a search for something you already know exists. You're going to find it at least one 39.5 feet long because we done found one that big. So Loch Ness is an adventure. It's the search for the unknown. It's what might be out there.
That's true. And then, shit, I just did something.
While you looking that up, check this out. Here's one called The Bog Beast, which is a comic book about a kraken from the bog attacking boats. And it's an old comic book I found. And I want to have a little something to go with this one. So I actually got this, and I think this is so cool. This is a comic book that actually features the Kraken attacking a ship.
Well, but Danny,
Monster
what I'm about to show you.
Is that not cool?
That is beautiful.
That's some great art from an old comic book. I'm a comic book guy.
But what I'm about to show you here, Danny, is probably, everybody in the chat, is probably the most frightening Kraken you will ever see. And this is going to be amazing to you guys. You're going to have everybody in the chat. You better hold on to this. What are you about to see of this Kraken? It's purely amazing. All right, here we go.
Dead men tell no tales.
Look at that Kraken, people. What the hell? Look at that. Look at that. Right, Dan. We're watching
a giant
Kraken
squid?
right here live.
No, it's the Kraken. Aim for the eye.
I think we all know what has to happen now. Eric, hand me the Capesh. If I don't,
This popped up today when I was watching videos about the Kraken and came on and started playing.
Is that Mr. Jones or Michael Phelps? You watch the Olympic, Barry? Yeah, he swims as fast as us.
the skin is way too thick to cut through.
Look at that.
I'll have to do it from the inside.
This man got the state.
Please forgive me for bringing you into this war.
Did he crawl up its anus?
Yep.
Oh.
You got to
He cracked his
kill it
head
from the
open.
outside. You only kill it from the inside.
This here is two-toed Tom.
Well, while we're getting to entertainment, obviously, let's bring up the whole head thing from that Pirates of the Caribbean movie with your bad guy is based on the actual Kraken with these little things.
Oh yeah, he is.
David
He
Jones.
is. He is.
The movie 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea actually features a giant squid attacking the submarine, and that's supposed to be based on the Kraken.
But Danny, I'm about to show everybody a video of a battle, and before I show this battle, this is going to be the biggest battle you guys are ever going to see in your life. Bigfoot versus the Yeti versus the Kraken. Who do you guys think would win that battle?
I think Kraken would have dinner.
The
What?
Yeti or the Kraken? Who will win that fight? Everybody. So everybody think the Bigfoot's going to win? Put a 1. If you
This is
think
going to
the
be like
Yeti's going to win,
Godzilla versus Bambi, man. Come on.
put a 2. If you think the Kraken's going to win, put a 3. And then I'll show you the video of who wins the fight. So everybody, okay. Number 3, he's saying the Kraken is going to win the fight. Come on, I want to see more people. I'll let you guys see the video of this fight, but I want to know who you guys think is going to win. Kraken, Kraken, Kraken. Come on, nobody's giving Bigfoot the Yeti a chance. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Got one person, David Martin, saying the Bigfoot. Nothing for the Yeti. Oh, no. Val says the Yeti. Val says the Yeti. All right, guys. Let's find out who's going to win this battle. Danny, who do you think is going to win this battle?
Could be the Kraken. He's 50 foot long, 60 foot long, and a little one. And Bigfoot's 8 foot 9. He's going to open him up like a Budweiser and drink him.
You think so, huh?
You would think.
Let's find out. Here we go. This is called
unless they tag team him, right?
Yeti versus the Kraken. Get ready for this battle. This is the battle of all century. Right here, right now, exclusive on the Paranormal Highway.
Wait a minute.
Oh, Kraken beat that one. Hold on. Oh, Kraken beat up that one.
Not right.
Hold on. Here's the Bigfoot. Here's the Yeti. Here's the Yeti. Here's the Bigfoot. They're fighting.
Then they're gonna tame up. Oh. And then Jesus like they can walk on water, right?
Godzilla!
This looks like one of my friend Shin Godzilla 1987's videos.
I just thought that would be fun for everybody to see. But you're right. That crack in his hand just like...
Yeah. That's the way it works, man. Cracking and all.
Godzilla always wins. Doesn't Godzilla always wins? But beyond that...
Except in that first movie.
Oh, Godzilla didn't win the first... God. There's been
No,
so
he got
Godzilla.
vaporized into a skeleton by some kind of oxygen-stealing thing.
So Danny, what other type of that you know of sea creatures that are cryptids of the sea creatures?
The only one I'm familiar with around here is my old lizard man. You know, we get a lot of reports of the lizard man in South Carolina, and he's supposed to be like reptilian, like a gator that can go in water and come out. But when it comes to like, you know, the most scary sea monster of all are real animals, like the giant octopus. That's scary. And a megalodon, a giant shark, that would be even scarier. Imagine the one in Jaws 15 times that big. And that would probably be the scariest thing I can imagine in the ocean. I've actually come face to face with a shark before, and it's terrifying. You know, the shark I saw was bigger than the one in Jaws by a long ways.
Wow.
Yeah, it was probably a good 29 foot, and it was right in my face. It was my first encounter with a great white while I was diving. And you know what? I ain't never been diving since. And I ain't been back in the ocean and in the sea. I'm not going to. I'm through. That was it. It only took one time for me to be sitting there seeing how small and insignificant I was in front of this giant shark. And the bad part, there wasn't just one. There was several sharks. There was just one great big one. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm done. You know, it's over. And after I come out of that water and I survived that and didn't get bit or didn't get chewed up, I went home. I come back to land.
What is Monster Radio asking you? Wait, what kind of shark, Danny? What?
It was a great
Was it a deep blue?
20 to 26, maybe 29 foot long. It was the biggest, most incredible thing I ever saw.
Man. And then I was having fun. Let me actually hold on a second. I was having fun today, people. I was hold on a second. Give me a second. I was today. If anybody saw some of my shorts that today, I was hanging out. I'm actually at the Des Moines where the Mary Islands and right over there. 6 UFOs broke a kid's arm, killed a dog, crashed on that island right there. Look at this. This is just gorgeous. Hold on a second.
Start listening for helicopters.
I heard something. Okay, it was just an airplane. We have a Boeing flight airport, but it doesn't matter.
I was looking for the sound. Because it was a big sound. I was looking for it.
This is exciting. Hopefully right now, a UFO come right over me and take me away, so you guys don't have to watch me no more. You know what I mean? You don't want to watch me. You want to see exciting UFOs. But you know what? I don't fake things for you guys. This is a real deal. This is a real investigation. And I'm only going to show you real UFOs. I'll never lie to you guys. Yeah, and then hold on a second. Yeah, now when you heard there, hold on a second. I had to go. The reason I did the show at this time because I was actually at my son's college, and then I was trying my best for the community. To recruit new future people to join the Paranormal Highway. But you're cryptic hunters, UFO investigators, whatever you are. I am here at the Highline College recruiting the future of our communities.
A lot of planes.
I want all of you to tell your friends that the Paranormal Highway needs you, wants you, because together we're going to make this community strong. Only thing is, it's like, where's all the students? It's like aliens must have abducted every single student here. It's college day, so yeah, I'm hanging at the Highline College at the Des Moines, Washington, near the Mare Island incident. So maybe the alien ships come back. But beyond that, it was weird because it's first week of college. And I was like, where are all the kids? I mean, it wasn't as many as I thought there was. I don't know if a lot of kids are taking online classes more than ever. But beyond that, there is a question I do want to ask people in the chat. And it's just a question.
They probably can't afford to go to school no more.
But, guys, do you guys actually, in the chat, do you guys rather the show be at this time? 1 p.m. Pacific time instead of 9 a.m. Pacific time. I like to know you guys' feedback because sometimes I don't even know what's the best time to start a live show. So I want to hear from you guys. Do you guys like it starting this later in the day, or do you guys
I like it later in the day, honestly, because I'm always so rushed to get stuff done and make it to the noon time. It's really early for me. Like today, I didn't get out of bed at 11:30 today. I slept in because I was up so late.
JoJo says no. So JoJo, I miss a lot. So you miss a lot if I go on this time. That's fair. It's just because 9 a.m.
I'm not saying 4 o'clock. I'm just saying a little bit later than noon here. Like maybe an hour later than you've been doing, or maybe 2 hours later. Split the time with you.
Say for me, it's fine. Whenever it is, and guys, and then listen, a lot of times I do 9 a.m. because there are a lot of shows that Danny and I are friends that do their shows in the afternoon. There's a lot of them, so it's like I don't want to do a show at the same time as theirs. I have respect for them. So
but the same people you're talking about do their show right after yours. They go from 1 to 2 or from 1 to 2:30. So if you wait 2 hours to come on at 3, you'd just be coming on after them. Because I've checked around and there is hardly nobody between 3 and 6.
3 p.m. my time. That's not a bad time. That's something to experiment with.
It's 3 p.m. here.
Oh well, if I do it at noon, that'd be 3 p.m. your time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So at noon. That's a thought.
It's like you're doing it at your time is noon, so it'd be like the news hour. Out here, it'd be people getting home from school, picking up their kids, and
true.
It's just a good time on the East Coast. Because nobody's on from 3 to 6. It's a good open slot.
And it seems like everybody that I know through you, everybody in the chat, it seems like everybody is either East Coast or they're in the UK. It's like I don't know anybody except Brown Dwarf. If he's here, he's in California. But beyond Brown Dwarf, it's like I don't know anybody else who's in the West Coast.
I know a few people out that way.
Yeah, well, 12 o'clock is something I can experiment with and try it and all that. It's like I said, that's, my kids are off to college and all that kind of stuff. So, I could experiment with different times now, where in the past I had a window, right? And I got to do it in this window because I got to do this. So my time is a little bit more open where I can try out different times. So that's interesting. So Danny, what do you got coming up?
Well, tonight about midnight, I'll be going on doing the Witching Hour live stream tonight. I don't even know what I'm going to be talking about. Probably Bigfoot like usual, but I don't know what I'll be showing or talking about on that because I haven't even planned that show yet.
I know how you feel. I know.
But I'm going out tonight with a show, that's for sure.
Because Thursday I'm going to be back on a paranormal show. I don't know exactly yet that going to be the conversation for Thursday, but Friday it's going to be Dr. Wu and Ron from Cosmic Neighbors. And yes, you're going to hear this right. We're going to try to talk and prove that Taylor Swift is a clone.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about clones, manufacturing people, and we're going to try to prove that this woman has been manufactured and it's a clone.
And you can bring up the fact that Paul McCartney was the first one they done that to.
Paul McCartney, David Bowie.
No, it has to be the ones that's still alive. See, the dead ones couldn't have been a clone.
Michael Jackson, and there's supposedly, we'll try to get into it more on Friday. There's supposed to be evidence that, some early clones are showing their true colors that they didn't get it right. Some people say Bruce Willis was a clone and he's deteriorating because he's a clone. So we're going to talk all about that on Friday. So, and all that. So first of all, I appreciate you guys coming out today, trying out this time. And, maybe Thursday, maybe I'll try it at noon. I'll put the show on.
Let's take note that you had more people on this show than the last couple of shows doing it at a later time.
Yeah. So, hey, it might be something to try out. People. And I'm willing to, change time because, it's great. So I appreciate it. So let's look at the final vote. Oh, hold on. I didn't say who I voted for. Did I pick the Loch Ness Monster or I picked the Kraken? I almost screwed that up. Who do I choose? All right. Since I live in Washington, it's all about the Kraken up here, people. In the state of Washington, it's all about the Kraken. We got the hockey team that's Kraken. We got a lot of beliefs that the Kraken's real. There's more conversations in the state of Washington about the Kraken versus the Loch Ness, to the point where we even name a professional team the Kraken. So for me, my vote, the Kraken is the bigger story. But the voting's been done. The voting is ending.
Guys, let me give my opinion over here. Now, let me give mine real quick because, like I said, I choose Loch Ness because it's the more current and relevant story. And Kraken is has been there, done that, been proven. So Nessie's a bigger story because it's ongoing and happening.
All I have to say, people, listen, is there a hockey team called whatever, Loch Ness? No. Seattle Kraken. There's no hockey team that's called the Loch Ness.
I bet they might be something called Nessie or something, or Loch Ness Monster.
There probably is, right?
I hate that, but I'd almost bet there's somewhere somebody's got that name for a team. Hey, we the little Loch Ness Monsters.
Well, hold on. The dog man, he's from the UK. Our dog man friend. Is there a team over there that has the Loch Ness name in it?
You think about it. If you had a team of little Pee-wee football players, you could call them the Loch Ness Monsters.
You're Scottish. Doesn't matter. You're close to the UK.
Scottish. You know he's going to be picking Ness.
Than us. Oh man, I love Scottish. I love Scottish. So Dog man, is William Wallace, is that statue cool down there? I always want to go to Scotland to visit the William Wallace statue.
That's where my mother's from, Scotland.
But since Dogman, since you're from Scotland, do people is William Wallace really like I'm not saying a god, but is he really like very huge in the Scotland culture? I'm curious. Loch Ness is in Scotland. Oh, you're in the UK and the Loch Ness is in Scotland, but you're still closer than us. So, but beyond that, hey, I appreciate everybody being here today. This has always been fun. I want to thank Danny for being here. Danny's always cool, and I love how Danny was sending me videos like, "Hey, I found something. Here's the latest one," and it helps out so much.
Well, we know you're a busy person, Eric. You need all the help you can get.
It's awesome. Beyond that, guys, we'll see you all next time on the Paranormal Highway.